Hello and welcome to Riser's L&V celebration event. My name is Matt Bailey and I'll be your host for today's virtual event where we'll be celebrating all things leadership and volunteering, taking a look back at your hard work during the last few months and championing those of you who've been nominated as real standout students of the programme. We'll be joined by some familiar faces who'll be chatting to you about everything from where you can go from here and how to make the most of the things you've learned whilst on the programme, all the way through to reflecting on your experience and acknowledging just how far you've come as a leader and volunteer since the very first session way back in February. We'll also be revealing some exciting news about how you can stay involved and become a part of Riser's Young Volunteer team, which will be launching very soon. Oh, and of course, we've got the small matter of announcing our award winners too. So get comfy, grab yourself some snacks and chill out while we celebrate and look back at the hard work of all 400 of you on this year's Rise Leadership and Volunteering programme. First up, I'm delighted to welcome back Team GB Olympic bobsleigh driver Nicola Minichiello, who you'll recognise from the beginning of the programme when she spoke to you all about step into sport and smiles. Nicola, over to you.
Hi everybody, my name is Nicola Minichiello and it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you today. So my background in sport is I was very fortunate to be an international athlete representing Great Britain, two different sports actually. So I started off in athletics. I was doing an event called heptathlon, which for those of you that don't know, it's 7 different events over 2 days. And then when I was 23, I got a random phone call out of the blue that said, did I want to have a go at bobsleigh? My response, what's bobsleigh? But they said, if you come along, it'll be fantastic. Maybe you could make the Olympic team. And if not, maybe you can just go to Canada for 3 weeks. All expenses paid. And that for me was amazing. It was a huge opportunity. I absolutely loved being involved in bobsleigh. I was very fortunate through bobsleigh to compete at 3 Olympic Games, to get a silver medal in the World Championships, and then go on to make history, getting a gold medal and becoming the only British woman to get a gold medal. For me, sport is so fundamental to life, to everything that we do. The more sport you do, the more different skills that you learn. But actually, the leadership and volunteering is huge. It's really crucial, and it can make such a difference to somebody's life. For me, when I was at school, I didn't have a big ambition to be an international athlete. My pure ambition was to help other people build their confidence through sport, because that's what sport did for me. My ambition was to be a teacher or a coach or something to use the power of sport to help somebody improve their lives. And I was very fortunate to go to university and graduate as a teacher, but I also feel very fortunate now that I use those skills that I learned. I use everything I've loved about sport to help me in a different way, to help me work with lots of different countries who don't have a big tradition in bobsleigh, to help coach, to help lead, to help make sure that they use sport as a priority. Through leadership and volunteering, you have such an amazing power, such an amazing opportunity. You may not change the world for every single person, but you absolutely can change the world for at least one person. You can show them opportunities they didn't think were possible. You can help them believe in themselves. You can set them on a path, and whether that path ultimately be to be a better sports person, or whether that path ultimately be to be more successful in life, to be a better friend, to work harder, to take everything that you've taught them about sport, it will help them make themselves better. It really does give you the skills and confidence to be able to take it into any area you want. The more leadership and volunteering you do, initially it'll be scary. It'll be a little bit different. You're standing up. In fact, the #1 phobia in the whole world is standing up in front of a group of people and speaking. Is social phobia. That's the #1 phobia. And for so many people who don't put themselves into that situation, who don't take themselves out of their comfort zone, that always becomes an issue. That always becomes a challenge. The more leadership and volunteering you do, the more your confidence will grow. Not only that, you'll develop skills in other areas. You'll develop skills in different things that you never thought were possible. Skills that you can then use for the rest of your life. Whether you want to be a coach, a teacher, a chief executive of a blue chip multi-million-pound company, those skills you develop through leadership and volunteering will take you to such a different place and give you so many more opportunities than if you hadn't done it before. Yeah, there are plenty of transferable skills. Ultimately, if I was a business, if I was looking for an employer, I'd want to see somebody who was prepared to work hard, somebody who could stand up and lead a group of people, somebody who was a motivator, somebody who was inspiring. All of those skills you will develop through the leadership and volunteering pathway. You will develop them. Sometimes you don't even realise what opportunities and what skills you're developing, but you can transfer those skills to any different situation. You can transfer those skills, whether it be to be captain of your football teams, you can transfer those skills to be a teacher, you can transfer those skills to be on TV, to be a presenter, you can transfer those skills to be a manager. But ultimately, the more you do, the more chance you have of achieving a successful life, the more chance you have of achieving a successful job, the more chance you have of earning more money in the future. Yeah, I think we've had such a difficult 18 months with coronavirus and with this pandemic, and I honestly believe that the 18 months we've had, how difficult it's been, actually it's the next 18 months and the next 2 years that are going to be even more challenging, because we've almost really impacted on a generation in terms of that lack of socialisation, the lack of social skills. People have been isolated, we've got stress, we've got anxiety, we've got hundreds of different scenarios where people are worried. We've been bombarded with so much negative media and so much fear and worry about the virus and about the pandemic. So the first challenge on a personal perspective for the leaders and volunteers is going to be finding ways they can still find that direction. They can do things, but they might just be doing things a little bit differently than previously. So perhaps they've spent some time really not communicating, by themselves, in some level of isolation. Going and having those first conversations and going and doing that first section of volunteering is going to be a little bit challenging. But the second area is going to be working with others. So we know the statistics at the moment on mental health. We know that 80 or 90% of young people are having challenges in terms of mental health caused by the pandemic. We know that people are less likely to mix. So it's going to be trying to do things in a slightly different way to help inspire confidence, to help people learn how to socialise again, to help people learn how to work together. Leadership and volunteering has always been something that's so crucial, but actually the role that these leaders and volunteers are going to play in this next couple of years and going forward as we really recover from this pandemic as a society is going to be even more important, even more significant, and more opportunity to, again, save people. I can't say that strongly enough. They may not have the opportunity to save everybody, but they can absolutely change somebody's life. They can change somebody's world. They can inspire that confidence. They can build them up, and to be able to work and inspire and motivate and save even one young person is the most important, most significant role anyone can ever play in their life. I think there are so many different pieces. Probably the one that really resonated mostly with me is there's going to be times when you don't feel confident. There's going to be times when you're having a hard time, when you're not sure of your content, you're not sure of your audience, you're not sure of the group. The biggest thing I always said, and somebody taught me, fake it until you make it. The reality is you more likely know more about your subject or more about your sport or more about this topic than the people that you're working with. So as long as you act confident, you take a deep breath, shoulders back, stand up tall and pretend that you know exactly what's going on, the more that's going to inspire confidence in the people you're working with. And before you know it, that confidence that you're pretending to start with will radiate and you will start to believe it. You will start to become it. Fake it until you make it.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Nicola. Now, on to our first award, which is the Volunteer Award. We wanted to acknowledge the young person who's dedicated a significant amount of time to volunteering. And the winner of this award has done just that. She's helped to enable a range of physical activity opportunities in her local community by volunteering on a weekly basis and setting a fantastic example to her fellow young volunteers. I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the Volunteer Award is Stephanie Ellison. Well done, Stephanie. Please make sure you contact the Rise team to claim your award, which includes a certificate and vouchers for Just Eat, ASOS, Nike and a range of other retailers. Details are on the screen now. Excellent work from Stephanie there. Okay, next up we're joined by Jess, who's been delivering all of our CPD events as part of the L&V programme. Jess is going to chat to you about what happens next and how you can make the most of the opportunities that come your way after completing the programme. Over to you, Jess.
Hey there, I'm Jess Callaghan. I'm Director at Gorilla Training and I am Head of Quality for Training at Street Games. And for the past 3 months, I've delivered around about 14 CPD sessions as part of Rise's Leadership and Volunteering programme. So first of all, massive thank you, first of all, to Rise for having me, and secondly, to you guys for taking part, for turning up, for engaging, for sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas, and making the sessions what they were really. So I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you can take loads of ideas, inspiration for them for where you're going with your coaching and volunteering for the future. I think it's really important that we take action off the back of this. You've done the learning, you've engaged, you've taken away some ideas, hopefully, but what happens next? Where do we go now? How do we implement that and make sure that your leadership and volunteering journey continues? So today, what we're going to do is talk a little bit about some further opportunities for leadership and volunteering as you go forward. Yeah, so there's loads of opportunities out there for you. Some of them are more formal than others, such as the NGB recognised courses. So no matter what sport you're interested in, they'll all be affiliated with a national governing body, or NGB, if you've not heard that term before. So for example, rugby has the RFU, football has the FA. You know, all the different sports are affiliated, and what you'll get there is a pathway of coaching awards and qualifications. So if you are looking to do a specific, we're looking to work in a specific sport, that might be a great opportunity for you to go down a pathway there and work your way up from sort of a kind of assistant coach level right up to the top level there. National government bodies usually have a range of other CPD training as well. So as well as that qualification pathway, there's complementary offers. So it's a great way to go down, like I said, if you're looking to go into a specific sport. Best way to find out about that is if you go on the NGB websites. They're dead easy to find on Google. Just type in like football NGB or netball NGB, whatever it might be, and have a look on their training and their coaching opportunities page. Good tip also is to try and get a hold of the local contact, because what you'll find is they'll list everything going on around the country and what's happening in the northeast, what's happening in the northwest, etc., and what's coming up. But if you get a hold of their local contact, you can give them a call and find out what other opportunities there might be available. So top tip there. Other than that, you may choose to go down a college or university route. So there's plenty of qualifications and sort of degree programs that you could choose to do that way. Sports coaching qualifications, sports science, coaching and management. There's all sorts of different pathways that you can go down. They obviously provide a much more theoretical approach to sports. You get a kind of all-encompassing approach to it. It's not just the coaching, it's everything else that comes with it, and it's that slightly higher academical side of things that can help you get depending on what route you want to go down, that may help you to get into the workplace by having the degree. It may just help you to understand where you want to go with your coaching, your leadership, your volunteering journey. It's quite early on in your journey, maybe it's for you to decide exactly what you want to do, and that may open up some further opportunities. And what you'll find is generally through a college or university course that you will also be offered, as well as the degree program, maybe, or the a BTEC program or an A-level. There will be other opportunities that come your way as well to do further, smaller, shorter training courses. You may find that even if you don't want to go and do a sports coaching degree or sports management or sports science degree, that maybe you're doing a business degree, that actually leadership and volunteering can link into that really well. Some of the transferable skills that you'll get, and actually just because you're doing a business degree doesn't mean that you can go and do some extracurricular stuff in doing a leadership and volunteering program, getting involved in what else is going on a university campus or college campus. It's all great experience, all adds to the CV really well, and it'll complement whatever degree or BTEC or A-level that you're doing. So that's an opportunity if you want to go down that sort of more academical theory side of things. You've also got other opportunities such as apprenticeships and traineeships, so a more sort of vocational approach to things. So you may go on something like a community activator coach apprenticeship or community sport and health officer apprenticeship, where you will learn the skills to get out there and be doing stuff on the ground right here, right now. So whereas uni, you'll go and train and you'll learn and you'll do 3 years of that maybe. So with an apprenticeship, you're out there straight away. You're working in the community, or you're working in a school, or you're working in a big organisation, and you're doing the job straight away. As well as learning on the job. So you still get that educational side of things. You'll still get a qualification out of it. And you'll still get all those other opportunities to do maybe a coaching badge or a little bit of extra CPD here or there. So I guess it really depends what kind of person you are, what kind of opportunities you're looking for, where you see yourself going. Do you want to do that more academical side? Do you want to do that more vocational side? And obviously there is crossover. It's not just go to uni and you don't do any work, or go apprenticeships and you don't do any academics. It's just the way that it's balanced, in different things work for different people. So for university courses, college courses, pretty easy. I mean, I guess go and look up your local college. Where do you want to go? Get onto UCAS if you're thinking about university. They've got a list of all the courses that you could do. And there's a government website for apprenticeships. If you just type in apprenticeships government, which will point in the right direction for all the different apprenticeship schemes that you could potentially get involved in as well. So I guess they are the more structured, longer term things. There's also loads of opportunities you can get involved in on a more short term basis, maybe around work that you're already doing, or maybe you are on a college course and you want to do some extra stuff. There's always loads of training providers, loads of places like Rise, Active Partnerships that are providing these opportunities on a regular basis. So getting involved in them in an ad hoc way can be really useful. And sometimes those bits that aren't necessarily sport, coaching, volunteer specific are really good to get involved in, because it can help you shape your all-round approach to whatever focus you have. So it may be like some extra training on mental health and how you can support people in your coaching session with mental health. It might be around behavior and how you can tackle certain behaviors. It might be around how to manage working with parents. If you're working with young kids and there's expectations from the parents of how they'll progress. So it doesn't have to be that narrow focus. It can be the all-encompassing side of things. There's also loads of opportunities for you to go and do sort of your own CPD. There's loads of podcasts out there now. There's loads of books that you can go and look up. There's so much stuff out there on the internet. If you've got access to like Netflix or Prime, or sometimes even just BBC on the iPlayer, there's loads of documentaries that you can watch, and that all helps to kind of push your training forward. If you can pick up some good stuff that's been going on, in the coaching world, because you've watched an hour-long documentary about Man City or something like that, great. If you want to listen to a podcast about how British triathlon has got the best out of their sort of grassroots program, great. If you want to go and read some articles on the Sport England website or on the Rise website or wherever it may be, then great. That all adds to your learning, your training, your development. Essentially, I would say take as many opportunities as you can get. The more opportunities you get, the more you soak in, the better, the more rounded you'll be, and I guess the more opportunities that'll come your way off the back of that. So yeah, we've talked a lot about academics, but that might not be the right route for you. Everybody's different. Everyone takes a different path, and it doesn't matter which route you go down, as long as you embrace it, and as long as you take all the opportunities that you can along the way. So if you're thinking about going straight into the workplace, having leadership and volunteering opportunities, having that sort of experience on your CV, being able to demonstrate what you've done through the Rise program and any others that you may get involved in off the back of this, is crucial for me. I do a lot of hiring in the roles that I have, from kind of grassroots coaches right the way up. And what I look for straight away is that breadth of people getting involved in loads of different stuff. Like the more wide your experience, the better. And at your stage in life, if you can go to a workplace, if you can apply for a job and you've got that leadership and volunteering experience on your CV, first of all, before anything else, even if it's relevant to the job or not, I can see that you've got up off your backside and you've gone and tried to develop yourself. You've seeked out those opportunities. You thought, what can I do to help me become more employable? So first of all, that's excellent. You've already got that on your CV, guys, and just make sure you explain that to workplaces. Don't just note it on your CV. If you get an interview, make sure you tell the workplace about that. So that's the first thing. It looks good. You've gone and done some homework. You've gone and got yourself some experience. The second thing is, no matter what the job is, whether you're going for sort of a sports coaching, volunteering style job or not, there will be transferable skills that you can take from the leadership and volunteering program to your workplace. So people are, hiring workplaces are always looking for people who turn up on time, who'll engage, who've got great communication. We tried out different ways of communicating on this program, given that with COVID we were online. So there was typing, there was chatting, that you had to go and maybe think about things off the back of that as well. So in a normal world, if we did this outside of COVID, you would have been, you'd get all those other sort of communicating options as well, talking to each other and discussing and maybe getting your point across. So that's maybe something you can go and try in a slightly post-lockdown world to try and build on as well. But yeah, like I said, all those transferable skills, your communication, your creative thinking. I posed a lot of questions to you guys about how would you use this? How could you do that? Understanding other people. Being able to, just use technology and, maybe it's less applicable to your generation than it might have been to mine, but being able to kind of manage different apps, different technology to be able to engage in these kind of things. Leadership qualities. Again, even if it's nothing to do with sport or coaching, somebody who can stand up there and has the confidence to stand and be able to project a voice or be able to get people to listen to them, and not just listen, but to be able to listen and impart what you're saying. So whether that's imparting some coaching knowledge, whether that's helping volunteers or participants to go to a certain place or engage in a certain activity, these are all transferable skills that, again, sets you apart from the next person. Somebody coming out of school or college and has done exact same qualifications as you, they've done some GCSEs, maybe has done some A-levels or BTEC or something like that, and they turn up to the workplace. If you've got two similar people and you've gone and got all these transferable skills, then I know who I'd be hiring. I'd be hiring that person that's got all those extra skills rather than the person who's not gone out and done that. So like I said, the fact that you've got up there and gone and done something looks great for me on a CV, the transferable skills. And then the added bonus is if you're going for a role that is to do with coaching and volunteering, that you've got that specific stuff there as well. We've talked about, the leadership, we've talked about the volunteering, we've talked about, sporting activities in schools, in communities, and we've talked about that wider breadth of stuff as well. We talked about, goal setting, motivations, we talked about mental health, all that kind of stuff, all the wider things that go with it is just, again, going to help you to stand out from the crowd and be that better candidate. And not only does it help you get the job, okay, so once I'm there and, shook your hand or fist bump, whatever you can do at the minute, you've got the job, right? You need to know that you can actually do the job. It's all well and good getting the job, but you need to be able to be confident in yourself that actually I can do this job. And there's always going to be opportunities for growth in any job that you go into. You should always be looking to develop yourself, and you don't want to sit still. But there's got to be that balance of, like, do I know how to do this job going into it? And because you've done, these leadership and volunteering opportunities, because you've built those transferable skills, because you've built the confidence to know what you're talking about, because you've engaged with the likes of Rise and myself, other partners and things like that, because you've linked in with your school and your teachers about how to access these kind of opportunities, that should build your confidence so that you go into that job thinking, yeah, I'm going to go and smash this now, rather than going in on the first day and thinking, I've got the job, excellent, but how on earth do I go about it? So not only does it hopefully get you the job, it helps you to be really confident in your own ability in doing that job as well. So there's loads of opportunities everywhere you look. You've got to go and look for them, basically. But great start with Rise. If you go to your active partnership, which is Rise in this area. If you happen to be moving elsewhere for uni purposes or anything like that, look up your equivalent to Rise, whichever area you go to. So your active partnership, they are full of little information. Obviously, Rise put on this leadership and volunteering program for you guys, but they will also be linked in with other organisations, other places in which you can gain extra experience, other programs, etc. You've got other organisations such as Guerrilla Training, who I work for, or Street Games I work for, other local community organisations. You know, if you go to Rise and ask, you know, can you tell me about some sporting organisations in the area, I'm sure they'll be able to point you in the right direction for whatever route or pathway it is that you want to go down. Local councils as well are a great way to look out for. If you speak to the sports department of your local council, they'll be able to help you pinpoint you or signpost you in the right direction as well. And social media is a great place as well. Follow different accounts. Follow the Rise account. Follow Sport England. Follow the local council, the sports department of the local council. Follow as many sort of sport community volunteering pages as you can, because there'll be loads of stuff that comes through social media that you just wouldn't manage to get your eyes on, even if you were looking and phoning up all the time. There's loads of opportunities that way. So keep asking. If you're in school, college, university, ask your teachers, ask the PE leads, ask the sports leads, ask the community leads, whoever is the appropriate person. They might be able to link you in as well. But there's plenty of opportunities out there. Just make sure you keep talking to people, keep engaging with the social media or organisations, and keep looking out for them, and take every opportunity. Like I said at the beginning, take every opportunity that's offered to you. Well, that's it for today. Thanks very much for listening. I hope, as well as the programme that you've taken part in, I hope that little extra bit there is being useful for kind of thinking about where you take your journey next. I'm always around. Feel free to get in touch with me. You know, you've got your contacts at Rise. They'll help you onwards as well. But yeah, I hope it's been useful. Hopefully, even if you can just take one thing away, even that, if that's just sparked one little thing in you and you think, right, that's what I'm going to do next, then great. But what I'd encourage you to do is, like I said right at the very beginning, take action. So don't just watch this video and think, yeah, there's loads of great ideas there, I'll do something about it one day. Go and do something now. You know, by the end of the day, you know, go and ring your local contact at the NGB, or ring the council, or go follow Rise on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you want to follow them. Go and look up a podcast, go and find out what's going on at college or university, but do something off the back of today. Go and check out an opportunity and take some action. But that's it for today. I hope it's been useful, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys in the future. Good luck with your journey.
Great, thanks Jess, really interesting stuff. Now remember, if you've got any questions about anything our guest speakers have talked about today, please do get in touch with the Rise team and they will be able to help you. Okay, sticking with CPD, the next award is for our CPD stars. This one was a tough decision, so the team decided to give it to two joint winners who were equally deserving. Now, these two young people have engaged with a number of additional CPD opportunities throughout the programme. In every session, they were more than willing to get involved and contribute to discussions, which, let's face it, can be sometimes a bit awkward on Zoom. And they've both demonstrated a really strong desire to learn and develop their knowledge of leadership, volunteering and coaching. So, I'm excited to reveal the CPD stars are Matthew Goddard and Freddie Stoll. Well done guys, the details are on screen now, so you can contact the Rise team to claim your awards and well-earned vouchers for some treats on us. Now, you'll know our next speaker from our Coaching Principles sessions. He's going to talk to you about adaptability and how the way we've all had to change how to do things in the past year will stand you in good stead as a volunteer, leader and coach as you move forward after the programme. Here's Newcastle Eagles star Drew Lasker.
Hi, I'm Drew Lasker, guard for the Newcastle Eagles, and I'd like to congratulate you all on completing the leadership and volunteering program. I hope you found it useful and can apply what you learned on the program into your coaching. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of being able to adapt as a coach. It's always important that you're adaptable as a coach because usually the ability level of the group, it always varies. In some cases, original content doesn't just work as planned, and you need to find new ways to motivate the group. For example, with my coaching here in the States, just recently, I had a new client that we were welcoming to the group. So I wasn't completely sure of what their skill level was. And right away, I can tell that they weren't on the level of the group. And when it comes to coaching in a group, you always want to coach up. You don't want to coach down. So that kid in particular was holding my group back. So what I did was I took him out of the group and I put him over on the other basket. And that way we was able to keep the group moving and without not allowing that kid to feel overwhelmed by the talent level. So he was able to get a little bit of one-on-one attention. But that's me as a coach, always in my mind, being adaptable in the moment. And that's one of the important keys in coaching, is that you always got to be on your P's and Q's, and you got to be able to adapt in the moment. Like many, coronavirus has affected a lot of industries, and we've all had to pivot, even coaching. The biggest reason we've needed to adapt is we haven't had the ability to see participants in person. And like many, we've had to pivot to Zoom calls and Teams. And with that online presence, what it does is it eliminates the opportunity for that contact time. So you don't have a pulse on a group. And, even though you might be in a group in screens, everyone is really working individually. They're in all different types of environments. So, from a coaching standpoint, it's been really challenging, but it's been refreshing as well, because we've had to figure out new ways to keep participants engaged and motivated and think outside the box, doing things that we probably wouldn't necessarily do in the past. So with that, it's actually been a blessing in disguise. It's been a blessing in disguise. And with my program in particular, during the heat of coronavirus, our occupancy, it decreased by more than 75%. So as a business, we weren't running as we normally do. So, for us, it was tough, but again, it allowed us to pivot and go into Zoom. And what it did is it actually allowed our program to blossom, because with that Zoom and that online presence, we were able to work with athletes from all around the world, which is something we wouldn't normally have the opportunity to do. So, it's been a gift and a curse, but I've always said that it's given everyone a fresh outlook on things. And so, we've all had to adapt for the best. I guess that's a great question. The biggest thing I would say is independent learning through a screen. I'll give you an example. I was working on these programs a couple of years ago and trying to be forward thinking as a business and as a coach, and trying to provide these workouts that athletes could do on their own. But at the time when I released them, the market wasn't ready for them. Athletes wasn't ready for that. Athletes were, comfortable working one-on-one personal with the coach in that live setting. And fast forward, the pandemic hits, and, we all having to pivot to online training. And those workouts that I had created a year or two before, then all of a sudden they became relevant. So, that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen is, from an athlete's perspective, they've been a lot more receptive to different type of styles of coaching, whether it's live coaching, whether it's online. And so, like I said, again, it's been a blessing, because it's forced athletes to have to be self-motivated and be able to train and learn on their own. Yeah, it's all about that holistic approach for me. It's about having a pulse on the individual And, you know, there's always, when you're coaching in a group, even at the professional level, the talent, it always varies. And so, you know, the key is getting to know that person, you know, trying to figure out what makes them tick, what motivates them, what type of personality that they have, and then adjusting accordingly, because, you know, some kids or athletes, they respond better by being challenged. You know, they constantly need to be challenged to be motivated. They need to be kicked in the butt sometimes, and they need to be, you know, told maybe they you know, they need negative comments to be made to them so they're able to respond. Whereas on the flip side, you have some kids that, or athletes that are very, what's the word that I'm thinking? They're very emotional. So, you know, with those type of athletes, you really have to be careful, and you have to take a different approach. You know, with those, you have to pat on the back more often than you normally would. I mean, for example, just yesterday, we had a new client who come in here, and obviously I like to follow that holistic approach. So before we started the session, I just spent 5 minutes with just talking with them, just to get to know them a little bit. And towards the end of the session, all of a sudden I'm trying to push this kid, and he starts getting emotional and he starts crying. So then what do I do in the moment? So it's having that balance of, so I'm thinking to myself, am I pushing this kid too much? Or, you know, is he using that as a ploy for us to try to slow down a session? But from those conversations that we had before we actually got started, and him telling me his goals, I knew it was just a ploy for him to want the session to end. So for me as a coach, I realized that, and I kept pushing, but at the same time kept reassuring him that he could do it and he could make it through. Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And the biggest thing I would say is it comes with experience. I mean, the longer you're involved in coaching, the more comfortable you are with your craft, and the more comfortable you are with yourself, over time you do learn how to adjust on the fly. I mean, I even know for myself, when I first started coaching, I was a stickler for, you know, writing out my practice plan. And I felt like, because I spent that time, invested that time in creating a practice plan, I had to follow it to a T, even though in the moment I knew that probably wasn't working at the time. So over time, I just learned that, you know, when you're writing a practice plan, always have about 2 or 3 variants in the top of your head. So that way you're prepared to pivot and to adapt to any type of situation. So, you know, that would be my advice to you out there, is that, you know, as you know, there's nothing wrong with writing a scripted coaching session, but just at the forefront, just keep in mind that you want to have 1 or 2 pivots from each drill, because a lot of times, more than not, you know, the numbers don't always match up with some of the drills that you have in place. So how do you adapt that drill to maybe an odd number? You know, so always keep all those scenarios at the top of your head when you're planning those sessions. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed it and you've been able to really put in what you've learned from the L&V program into practice very soon. Good luck and keep pushing.
Thanks for that, Drew. Now, last but not least, it's time for our final award, the Outstanding Young Person Award. The winner of this award has been part of our Rise Leadership and Volunteering program for 2 years now, and has shown a huge amount of dedication to leadership, volunteering, and coaching during that time. He continues to learn new skills in addition to constantly developing his knowledge and understanding of all aspects of leadership and striving to become the best volunteer he can be. He also has the confidence to deliver engaging and exciting content across a wide variety of sports and activities. I'm super happy to announce that this year's Outstanding Young Person Award goes to Alex King. Massive congratulations to you, Alex. So well deserved. Get in touch with the Rise team via the details on the screen and they'll get your certificate and your vouchers out to you. Of course, it goes without saying, we want to say a huge well done and thank you to each and every single one of you who have dedicated your time to the programme. This year has been a record year with over 400 young people from across Northumberland and Tyne and Wear enrolling when we launched back in February. We can't wait to see how you all move forward and use the skills you've gained during the programme. Which brings me on nicely to our final speaker. Claire is the CEO at Rise and she wanted to mention some exciting future plans that you can get involved with. Claire, can you tell us a bit more?
Hi, I'm Claire Morley, Chief Executive Officer for Rise, which is the active partnership for Northumberland and Tyne and Wear. And we'd like to say a huge well done and congratulations for successfully taking part in this year's Leadership and Volunteering programme. You make up our next generation of young leaders and volunteers, and we're thrilled to be able to support you all through your journey as you develop your knowledge and important life skills, such as communication and organisation, as well as increasing your own confidence and employability. You've all worked extremely hard, and it's inspiring to see so many young people committed to volunteering in order to provide others in our local communities with the opportunity to access sport and physical activity. I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing where you all go from here. Do you want to become a coach at your local club? Perhaps you're interested in supporting sporting events in our region. Or maybe you've got your eyes set on becoming a teacher. Wherever your next volunteering chapter takes you, I hope our paths will cross again later down the line, and who knows, some of you may even join us to work here at Rise one day. Which does bring me on to some really exciting news. I'm thrilled to be able to announce our plans to create our very first Rise Young Volunteer team. In order to create longevity for our leadership and volunteering programme, and to ensure that you get the very best out of your experience and the opportunity to utilise what you've learned so far, we're looking to establish a young volunteer team that we can then deploy into community events and organisations to help create and provide sustainable physical activity opportunities for people across Northumberland and Tyne and Wear. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, keep an eye on our website and social media channels for more information, which will be revealed very soon. And it'll also tell you how you can get involved and join our young volunteer team. Well done once again. Congratulations to all 400 plus of you, and particularly our award winners. And thank you to our speakers from today and to all of the coaches who have helped deliver the sessions virtually. Without all of you, this wouldn't be possible. Have a great summer and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Exciting stuff. Thanks so much, Claire. We'll be releasing more information on our Young Volunteers team soon, so keep an eye on the Rise website and our socials for more information. Well, we're coming to the end of our celebration event now, and I really hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been so great to hear about all of our deserving winners and get some final pieces of advice and expertise from our speakers, as well as learning about future opportunities that you can take advantage of as you take the next step in your journey as a young leader, volunteer and coach. But it wouldn't be the end without seeing the best bits, right?
Trust the process. Trust the process. Like anything, maybe it can be a long road. You might feel that some days is it worth it actually just going there for what that hour session just to put a few cones out. Yes, because like just briefly touched on there, like you'll pick up on so many different things as well, to even how, you know, players react with a certain style, to then seeing how, you know, if it's sort of like younger like adolescents that you want to kind of coach, seeing how then viewers, i.e. parents and carers, are kind of looking on to then know how you should develop your professionalism, to deal with not just the people who you're coaching, but those behind them as well.
And that's a key thing from an element, is that, you know, we can all make barriers up. We can all say, this is why I'm not doing it. but the real opportunities, go and do it. You can go out there now, that you can go outreach there, and and you can. The world's your oyster now. The world's a smaller place, so it doesn't necessarily have to be staying in this country. Mm-hmm. We've got even many players as well as coaches leaving here now. So we've got a breadth and depth of knowledge and of good, skilled people, as well as players and coaches that are here. But from my area to it all, it's like go and grab it, go and use it, and then the world's your oyster.
I personally believe in spending the time to set up a culture so that it starts to police itself, and I see that as not just raising the bar but raising the floor. One person walking on poolside or one person walking on the pitch as a coach shouldn't influence the behaviour of the team, but I often see that a lot. Oh, here's the coach, come quick, stretch, show them that you're doing something. What you do in the dark says a lot about you. What you do when people aren't watching says more about you and your culture than anything else. And it's that bit that I feel we've got to get right, and that is a solid foundation if gotten right.
To anybody who wants to get involved in volunteering, whether it's rugby, football, cricket, swimming, ice hockey, you've got to have a passion. You've got to believe in what you do. You will make mistakes along the way. Hopefully you've got the supporting mechanism to speak to somebody who can allow you then to feed back off and bounce ideas off. But just go with your instinct. There's going to be times where you're going to go, oh, should I just go with it? And if it's wrong, it's wrong. If you don't try, you'll never know.
I think the one piece of advice that I would give is that I am very for inclusion, and when you're getting involved in disability sport, you're trying to include everybody. So you're trying to make those adaptations so that somebody with a disability can have the same chances as anybody else. And when I was in school, I did not have the same chance as anybody else. I didn't get to do the sports, I didn't get to have the opportunities, and that's why I've gone into dance teaching. I would like everybody to be able to dance. That is my motto. So being able to have the opportunity to do something like disability coaching, I think is so incredibly important, because you're making sure those people are included, and you could make such a big difference to their lives.
And last but not least, that if you do decide to get in coaching, make sure you do all those things that I just mentioned, but always be yourself. Like, don't try to be another coach. Be yourself, because one thing that athletes can do really well is they can read fakeness. They can read if you're not being yourself, and they know very quick if you don't know what you're talking about. So be yourself, educate yourself, continue to evolve and know what you're talking about, because when you want to be an elite coach, players know quickly. They can sniff that out quickly if you don't know what you're talking about.
What a great look back at everything we've covered with the programme over the last few months. All that's left to say now is a massive thank you to everyone involved in delivering the programme, our guest speakers and coaches, and of course to you guys. It wouldn't be possible without you. Have a great summer, stay safe, and we look forward to hopefully working with you all again soon.